What if Lady Gaga, the pop icon known for her outrageous costumes and unforgettable performances, decided to bring all that extravagance to a beauty salon? Picture a hairdresser who transforms every haircut into a spectacle where scissors move like instruments, blow dryers roar like stadium crowds, and each client leaves not just with a new hairstyle, but with the thrill of having been part of a private Gaga show. What if Lady Gaga was a hairdresser? In this video, we'll explore a world where Gaga's talent shines not on concert stages, but in the chairs of her very own salon, a place where fashion, music, and creativity collide in ways no one could ever imagine. So, if you're ready to step inside this dazzling alternate reality, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because the show is about to begin. Imagine New York waking up to a new headline: Lady Gaga opens her own beauty salon. The streets of Manhattan would explode with fans, influencers, and curious onlookers desperate to see what kind of magic or madness awaited behind those glass doors. But this was no ordinary salon. The neon sign outside didn't simply read hair and beauty. It glowed in giant letters: the Fame Hair Salon. Inside, everything screamed Gaga. The mirrors were framed in gold, shaped like lightning bolts. The chairs? Not simple leather seats, but thrones covered in sequins. Even the shampoo basins had LED lights that pulsed to the rhythm of her greatest hits. And the waiting line? It looked more like the entrance to a Broadway premiere than a hair appointment. But what would it feel like to sit in her chair? Would she greet clients with her theatrical "Hello, little monsters"? Would every cut begin with a burst of music, turning the entire salon into a mini concert? And most of all, how far would Gaga go to turn a haircut into a once-in-a-lifetime performance? As the first scissors snipped, the world held its breath. Was this just another celebrity business venture, or the start of a cultural revolution in beauty? At Gaga's salon, a haircut was never just a haircut. Each client who sat in her chair wasn't simply getting a trim, they were stepping into a full-blown performance. Scissors clicked like violins in an orchestra, blow dryers roared like stadium crowds, and the playlist shifted from Bad Romance to Born This Way as if the entire room were a secret stage. And the styles? They pushed imagination to its limits. Mohawks that glowed with hidden LED strips, braids that spiraled into animal shapes, towering crowns sculpted so high they nearly brushed the ceiling. Each masterpiece earned its own name: the poker face, Bob, the Alejandro Mohawk, the shallow waves. Clients left the salon like living billboards, chased by flashing cameras and whispers from stunned onlookers. But whispers soon turned into questions. What if Gaga's next invention wasn't just a hairstyle, but a statement the world had never seen before? Would she unveil a cut that shifted colors with every movement? Could she create a style so shocking it would break the internet in minutes? And the bigger mystery, was Gaga still just a hairdresser now? Or had she become something far more dangerous to the beauty industry itself? One thing was certain: the Fame Hair Salon was no ordinary salon. It was a stage, a laboratory, and maybe even the beginning of a cultural revolution. But how far was Gaga willing to take it? It didn't take long before celebrities started lining up for an appointment. Rumors spread that Madonna had slipped in after hours for a secret Gaga makeover. Beyoncé was spotted leaving with a hairstyle that glittered under the paparazzis. Flash. And what about Elton John? He supposedly asked Gaga to dye his hair every color of the rainbow in one single sitting. The Fame Hair Salon became the new red carpet. Instead of waiting for award shows, magazines camped outside Gaga's door, desperate to capture the before and after shots of Hollywood's elite. And with every photograph, the legend grew. If Gaga could reinvent herself countless times, on stage, what would she do with the world's most famous heads of hair? But curiosity only grew stronger. Who would be next in her chair? Would she convince pop rivals like Katy Perry to let her scissors run wild? Could she transform politicians, CEOs, even royalty into living works of art? And the biggest question of all, what secret styles was she saving for herself, hidden from the world until the perfect moment? Each client that walked out wasn't just a customer. They were a headline, a trend, a spark for gossip that burned across the internet. And yet, Gaga hadn't even revealed her boldest idea. Not yet. When ordinary salons closed at night, Gaga's didn't sleep. The Fame Hair Salon transformed into a stage. Spotlights lit up the mirrors, catwalks stretched between the chairs, and models strutted out with hairstyles so bizarre they blurred. The line between fashion and fantasy. It wasn't just hairdressing, it was theater. Soon, Gaga was invited to international competitions, Paris, Milan, Tokyo. But her shows didn't look like competitions at all. They looked like world tours. Crowds filled arenas, expecting a quiet contest of techniques, only to be shocked by fire-breathing models, glitter explosions, and entire choirs singing as Gaga sculpted hair live on stage. Judges didn't know whether to give her trophies or standing ovations. But the whispers returned. Was this still hairdressing? Or had Gaga created a brand new art form? Could anyone compete with her when she turned every challenge into a global spectacle? And perhaps the most daring question of all, how far would Gaga go to shock the world next? Would she design a hairstyle so massive it required an entire team to hold upright? Or a cut so bold it would be remembered for centuries? Audiences left speechless. Critics admitted they couldn't decide if Gaga was a hairdresser or the most revolutionary artist the beauty world had ever seen. Years passed, but Gaga's salon never lost its sparkle. The Fame Hair Salon was no longer just a place to get a haircut. It became a landmark, a temple where art, music, and fashion blended into one. People traveled from every corner of the world not only to see her work, but to witness the feeling of being transformed by Gaga's hands. Her legacy wasn't measured in awards or trophies, but in confidence. Every client walked away taller, brighter, braver. Gaga had proven that beauty wasn't about following rules, it was about breaking them. And in the end, wasn't that the same message she had always sung on stage? But the question still lingers. What if Gaga's next masterpiece isn't a song or a hairstyle, but something none of us could ever expect? Could she reinvent herself yet again, in ways the world isn't ready to imagine? And if she did, would you be ready to follow her into that next chapter? One thing is certain. Whether on stage or behind the chair, Lady Gaga will always remain the queen of reinvention. So, what if Lady Gaga had chosen the path of a hairdresser instead of conquering the world's biggest stages? In a way, she already has. Every reinvention, every daring look, every shocking performance is proof that Gaga is more than an artist. She is an experience. And maybe that's the real legacy. Whether holding a microphone or a pair of scissors, she reminds us that creativity has no limits. And identity is something we can shape, just like hair, again and again. But now the question turns to you. If you had the chance, would you dare sit in Gaga's chair? And what kind of masterpiece would she create with your hair? If you enjoyed this journey through an alternate reality, don't forget to leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, because more incredible what if stories are on the way.